It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
We have right now Congressman Anthony D'Esposito.
Let's bring him in.
Yep, from the great state of New York. Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, we love you.
But more important than that, he's my congressman.
Oh, well, then maybe we won't put him on that. Sorry, Anthony. Anthony, first your reaction to this big, huge news. Did you hear what we started with here? That the European Union has just issued a letter to Elon Musk saying he needs to censor Donald Trump, that Donald Trump shouldn't be allowed to speak tonight on X, formerly, Twitter. This is incredible. What country are we living in?
Absolutely, and I agree with Congressman King that I'm confident that there wouldn't have been sent out without approval from some pretty high-level Democrats in the United States of America. It just goes to show that they're not going to be able to win at the ballot box, so they want to do whatever they can to censor good Republicans from speaking out against the disaster that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have created in this country.
That's a great point, Congressman, because you're right. It's like they don't want a level playing field. If you just go on the issues, that's a fair fight. But to say, okay, we're going to block you. Trump was blocked off Twitter for years upon years. He's finally speaking tonight. He's the leading, candidate, of course, right now, depending on the polls. But if you look at it, it's Trump versus, Kamala. I guess that's the one of the week there on the Democratic side. But it's Trump versus Kamala. And the American public's not supposed to hear from him? I mean, it's not only cutting him off, it's cutting off the American public, Congressman.
Well, yeah, what the Democrats don't understand is that they continue down this path, and as they censor, as they weaponize the justice system, as they try to take down Republicans, whether it's on the air, whether it's in the courtroom, whether it's in the ballot box, all they're doing is igniting the Republican base. And quite frankly, I mean, Congressman King will tell you, when we talk to moderates and, right-leaning Democrats on Long Island, they're fed up, too. They're disgusted with their party. They're disgusted with the fact that they're weaponizing every opportunity they get to bring the Republicans down. And that's why in places like Nassau County, where Democrats outnumber Republicans by over 120,000, that's why we're so successful. It's why we're winning in seats like mine, where I'm outnumbered Democrats or Republican by over 70,000, but yet we're winning because we're on the right side of the issue, because we have great leadership, because we have quality candidates, and because the base is ignited against the far left progressives that are controlling the Democratic Party.
And Congressman D'Esposito, here's Peter King.
Yeah, Anthony, first of all, you're doing a great job. No one gets around in more places than you do. You're everywhere campaigning. And not just campaigning, but also going to civic events and everything else, like the one on Saturday we did for Jack Kilbride, the renaming of the street. But let me ask you, though, is the average person out there realizing that Kamala Harris is ducking the press, that she's not talking to the media at all, and that she's changed so many of her positions?
Well, I think that as we've talked about, I think the average person, yes, do I think they're paying attention? Absolutely. But I think it's our job. It's the job that I'm not just saying this because I'm on your station, but it's the great job that John and everyone on this station does by spreading the word. It's what we do going out in the community every single day. It's about making sure we're on social media, we're talking to neighbors and letting them know exactly what's happening, because we've had these conversations before. To many of us, Election Day is the most important day of the year, but to others, it's just another day, and we need to make sure that we're spreading the word and that we're allowing to utilize radio stations like this to be our vehicle to get the message out that this truly is. And, I grew up in this business. Every September, October, we hear this is the most important election of our lifetime. There is no question that the election of 2024 is by far and away the most important election of my lifetime.
Congressman, it's Judge Richard Weinberg. Good to talk to you again. I have two problems about the Democratic campaign. Number one, they're hiding her. They're putting her in the basement, or this time it's behind a teleprompter, not doing interviews, not doing press conferences. And we don't know whether she'll actually go to debate. So they're hiding her. Number two, what I'm really concerned about is this brainwashing they're doing, this attempt to change the record of history about her positions. All the positions that she was wrong on, she's now reinventing herself. How do you respond to that?
Well, Judge, I would agree with you, but it's clear that the campaigns from the basement have worked for them before. That's how they got Joe Biden elected, and it only took a debate on national news to actually see that Joe Biden should not have been president, and that's why Kamala Harris is now at the top of the ticket. And with regards to the hypocrisy, I mean, it goes on and on. But most recently, I mean, now she's supporting, no tax on tips. She was claimed and lauded as the border czar. I mean, there was articles written in Washington papers about the job that she was going to do as the border czar. And then the same journalists in the same papers then wrote follow-up articles just over the last 10 days saying, oh, she was never the border czar. I mean, imagine if we tried to do that as Republicans. We would be, called out amongst every journalist in the country. But when it comes to Democrats, they're allowed to completely rewrite history. And like I said just a few minutes ago, it is our job to make sure that we set the record straight, that we get out there. And that's why it's so important. Congressman King said, I try to be in every community every single day, and I'm going to continue to do that because that's the way you talk to regular Long Islanders from me. And quite frankly, all my colleagues in the Republican conference, that's exactly what they need to do. They need to talk to people throughout this country, whether they're Republicans, whether they're Democrats, whether they're independents, and let them know that this is the most important election of our lifetime. And Kamala Harris and her ticket is not the solution to the problems that this country faces.
And Congressman John Catsimatidis, one last question. Do you think she's going to show up for the debate?
I think we'll see. I think there's at least we got about a little less than a month to go. I'm sure many things can happen. I think that her handlers are terrified of her showing up in front of an audience or having a debate with Donald Trump. Listen, Donald Trump did a great job at the debate against Joe Biden. Clearly, Joe Biden was not fit to be there to debate or to be president of the United States. But I think what's most important about the debate coming up is that President Trump needs to focus on the issues. He needs to talk about the things that matter to the American people. He needs to talk about, specifically for us, the things that New Yorkers, when they sit around their dinner table at night and have a conversation with their kids, that's the stuff that Donald Trump should be focused on. And if
he should just say that I could do a better job than the other person, not yell out names, name calling. I agree.
He should focus on the issues, focus on the things that matter, focus on the things that he did to secure our border, to grow our economy, to make our country safe, to be respected on a global scale. That's the stuff we need to focus on. It's everything that Kamala Harris and the Democrats fault on. And we need to just keep spreading that word and raising money for Republican candidates.
Thank you, Congressman Esposito.